Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton. You know, substance abuse or bad behaviour is never okay. Tolerating bad behaviour is also enabling that behaviour to continue unchecked. And that's not good for the individual with the bad behaviour, and certainly not for those who are affected by the bad behaviour. So what do we do about this? How do we as Noahides deal with this? Well, many families and individuals are torn apart by or as a result of substance abuse, gambling, domestic violence, and many other immoral acts. So, and all of these are immoral behaviours. So, as a Noahide, we are obligated to conduct ourselves in a moral and principled manner. That's expected of us by Hashem, our one true God. It is one of the fundamentals, in fact, of our faith and belief. So, to put it in a nutshell, we as Noahides are not to behave like fools and baboons. There is a code of conduct for us, and it is Hashem's desire that we follow that code of conduct in how we deal with others, and certainly how we conduct ourselves and how we look after ourselves. So let's just take a look at some guidelines before we go any further. I just want to refer to the Tanakh, and we're going to look at Proverbs. Now this is Proverbs 12 verses 15 to 16, and it says, "The way of the foolish one is upright in his eyes, but the wise man heeds counsel. The foolish one's anger will become known on that very day, but a clever man conceals his shame." And then it goes on. There's a couple of other verses here too that I'll refer to. And that is Proverbs chapter 13 and verses 16 and 20. And verse 16 says, "Every clever person acts with knowledge, but the fool broadcasts his foolishness." 18, "Poverty and shame befall one who rejects discipline, but he who heeds rebuke will be honoured." Then we go on from there to continue on to verse 20. It says, "One who walks with the wise will grow wise, but the companion of fools will be broken." So we do have some guidelines here. And then if we go to Isaiah is chapter 45, verse 18. And it says, "For thus said Hashem, creator of the heavens, he is the God, the one who fashioned earth and its maker. He established it. He did not create it for emptiness. He fashioned it to be inhabited. I am Hashem and there is no other." So we have some guidelines there that talk about how we should behave and what we can and can't do, or advice on how we should conduct ourselves. And back over there in Proverbs, when we looked at verse 16, there was a footnote, explanatory footnote, that said, "A fool does not have the sense or self-control to rein in his anger. He reacts quickly and ferociously." And there was also going on in Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 20, the explanation bears listening to. "One who walks with the wise is compared to someone who enters a perfumery. The pleasant scent will linger on his clothes. Likewise, one who associates with the wicked is like one who enters a tannery. The foul odour will accompany him all day. So no words are ever wasted, are they, in the Bible? So that tells us that, or reinforces to us as Noahides, that our behaviour must be acceptable to Hashem. Also, moving further on, there is the Divine Code written by Rabbi Moshe Weiner, the third edition, and there is a chapter called Obligatory Moral Conduct, and this is referring to Noahides, of course. The whole Divine Code refers to Noahides. And on chapter 8, now that chapter is on page 97 to 100, so it's a very short little chapter. It's not much in it to read, but it's action-packed. And so it goes on, and I won't read it word for word because you probably have a copy of this, and if you don't, I suggest you follow the links on my website to Ask Noah and order yourself a copy of it. It's well worth having. So this chapter deals with things such as anger. If you're easily angered, we have to refine ourselves when it comes to some of our unacceptable traits and behaviours. And that is something we have to work out. And it talks about, not being greedy, not being lazy. There's many things that are undesirable traits, telling lies, being quarrelsome. And again, it talks about you have to have the desire to refine your behaviour, and in the eyes of Hashem, and of course in the eyes of other people as well. So other things it talks about are, to be righteous and honourable when it comes to earning an income, providing for other people that are reliant on you. And so wisdom is something that we think is just automatically there, but a foolish person who's under the influence of drugs or alcohol, or a person who's addicted to gambling, etc., their wisdom has flown out the window. Otherwise they wouldn't be doing this. So and it's tragic how it affects whole families, can even affect some communities where there's low self-esteem, where people are suffering all manner of depression and things like this. So sometimes people just take to these things like alcohol or gambling, for instance, as a form of medication, I suppose they think it is. So really, we are also obligated as a Noahide, when we see people suffering like this, and certainly when that suffering is the result of someone's bad behaviour, then we should be looking at supporting the person who's subject to receiving that bad behaviour. So regarding Noahides, if you or someone you know is affected in any way by any of these immoral acts of conduct, please advise them, or please yourself. You need to seek professional advice, and the best place to start is with your family GP, or if you don't want to discuss it with the family GP because it might pose sensitive issues for you, then certainly you need to seek the advice of counsellors who deal with these specific behaviour problems. So if you're subjected to these behaviours, it is not acceptable, and as I previously mentioned, tolerating it is enabling it. You all know if you let someone get away with something once or twice, the next thing it becomes a habit. So it's all very well for me to say you need to be strong, but you really do need to put your situation in the hands of Hashem. And sometimes it may mean that the offending person with the bad behaviour has to be removed. Or it may mean that the person in receipt of the bad behaviour or abuse has to remove themselves from danger. This is not a pretty topic to discuss, and it's never easy in any way for those who are directly affected. It's a tragedy. It involves children. It involves extended families. But being a Noahide and strong in your faith doesn't mean that you have to be subject to abuse or the side effects of the behaviour of someone who's addicted to gambling or alcohol or any other form. Look, any form of behaviour or distraction that people engage in, to a point where that spills over and affects the family unit, that is a problem. So it doesn't even have to be alcohol or substances such as drugs and things like that. But it spills over and it's like a virus. It infects the family, the immediate family, sometimes the outer family, and even to the extent where it can affect a community. Sometimes a culture develops in communities where they see it so often they shut their eyes to it, and that's not right. That is definitely not right. So bad behaviour is never acceptable. No one has to put up with it. What you have to do is put your faith in Hashem, but you also have to take advantage of those facilities that are available, those health services, counselling services. This is not going to go away. And the longer you put it off, the harder it is to overcome. And it's even harder when that person, the offender, is one of our family, our loved one or a spouse. Very difficult indeed. But as I said, to ignore it and just accept it is enabling that bad behaviour to continue. And it'll get worse. It never gets better. It does not subside. It gets worse. So please seek help if you need it. It's a very serious matter, and you need someone to trust and confide in about these issues so that you can ring them at a moment's notice. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell to be notified when there's another video uploaded. Please take care, and God's blessing to you all. Bye.